actually happen. We are theoretically live, but don't hold me to that. Yeah, I don't know. We might not be. Hold on. Stream, yes. Oh, yep, there we go. All right, so stand by. Let me just get the link up. All right. This is I'm so unprofessional. Oh, did I close that? Oh, Jesus, Paul. All right. And I'm doing the thing. And all right, gentlemen, this is exciting. We're doing it. We're talking about Acts of Defiance 2023. I'm going to try to make this less formal than what we've done before. Let's just talk about what we liked about it, what we're excited about going forward, and what you hated. Let's bury some bitches tonight live on YouTube. So with us tonight, above me, we have Evan. Great job with Bronson Box. Brought back Edward White. A lot to talk to him about. Oh shit! This asshole opposite me, Mikey Unlikely, is back. Will he last 499 days? We're gonna find out. or I think unlikely. And then of course Brian's here to make sure that none of us do anything stupid. So,
Hall monitor.
yeah. All right. So I'll just throw it out there to anybody who wants to kind of take it away. Overall thoughts about where Defiance is right now. I oftentimes I think Brian started this either probably unintentionally by asking the question, "What is Defiance?" And I feel like Defiance right now is sort of in this a state of flux in a sense because you have kind of obviously the passing of the torch with Dex Joy. Dex Joy establishing himself as the champion. You have the return. You get the return of Mikey Unlikely. You have Edward White on the scene. You've got all these new tag teams, PCP back together. So obviously a lot going on. What are your thoughts about where Defiance is? Now I guess I'll throw it over to Evan first, since Evan is the returning youngster to the group, and it's probably still kind of wrapping your head around what Defiance is. What do you think, sir? Oh, I don't think he is. His mic working? Oh, okay. He's gonna look. Yeah, I don't think it's working. Well, okay, that was off to a really bad start. Am I the only one who can't hear him?
I can
No, I
hear him.
can't hear you.
Okay, okay. All right. So while he fixes that, hey, fuck you, Evan. Thanks for coming. Um, Mikey, you just got done reading the shows, which is nice.
Howard.
And you are actually the youngest member of the Defiance roster at this point. So what are your thoughts about Defiance, where it is, certainly since you left over a year
So
ago?
it's interesting coming back and checking out the landscape, seeing a lot of the same characters that were either just coming in when I was coming out, or they had been established, but maybe that they were on a lower on the card, and now they've moved up, they've grown up, they've become full flesh characters. Like Dutch Joy is obviously fully fleshed, in more ways than one. Am I right? But he's working out well. I mean, I love him as the Fist. I think he's a really strong babyface leader, and excited to see what else he gets into. But especially with Ed White coming back, I really like the PCP reunion. When I left, all was well, and so coming back and finding out Klein's not with them, I was shocked. But it's nice to see them reunite. Everything's okay. The world's back to normal, and I think Defiance as a whole is very, very strong. The fuses to your stables everywhere, 6-man tags. It was wild. It's a crazy show, full of great matches, and only a handful of segments. I'm sure we'll talk about that, but I think it was. I thought it was pretty
Eh,
good.
Yeah,
eh,
no, I totally agree. Evan, I think your mic is working now, so you can chime in.
it's working?
Eh?
You
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah.
There we go. Okay, good. New headset. No, I agree. It did take because I mean, I was like 2 or 3 years I was away. A lot, a lot changed. It's like people leave, and it's just a whole new Fed. But like I was telling you earlier, the thing gotten the biggest kick out of is everyone being so embracing the brazen idea. Like not even doing something different with it, but the exact idea that we all thought of was to create a toy box for everybody to play in, like Flex Kruger, Butcher Victorious, Levi Cole, Roosevelt Owens. There's other ones I'm missing. They were just
JJ
all over the
Dixon.
card.
JJ Dixon. JJ Dixon.
JJ Dixon. Oh,
Yeah.
the things that he's done with JJ Dixon, like and some of the characters very much are still the same, but like what Joe's done with Levi Cole, and they've been not just jobbers, but featured, utilized characters, and that's always what I thought. I was like, we've all we were looking, I think, at a point when we didn't have a lot of writers, and it was like, why didn't everybody just? It's not a role play Fed. Just do whatever you want. Justin said that to me like the other night. I was futzing about something. He's like, we can do whatever the fuck we want to. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, true. Brunk came out on an elephant. Keys had a parade. Like I was saying, like my new motto is embrace the absurdity, and I think that's what's so fun about Defiance now is people are not afraid to be absurd. And just,
I just want to do a wellness.
you know.
I just want to do a quick wellness check on Brian. Brian, you okay? Brian's not as comfortable with the absurd. Brian's a little less comfortable with. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't want to speak for you, Brian. I don't want to.
Listen, I just brought back somebody that's a literal, like, I dropped it down to millionaire, but when he was active, like, he was handled as a B billionaire. So I'm like, I could get away with some shenanigans with Ed White, but I'm going to keep it somewhat at the right. But we're talking about like Henry Keys. I've always been jealous of him for the shit that he was able to just. I was like, a fucking balloon, like the parade of play. Like every time I would read his shit, I would just sit there and go, fuck, why can't I do that and be absurd? Because I'll write something absurd and then I'll just delete it. Like, no, I can't. Fucking, it's got to be wrestling. I have to make it wrestling.
What's that, Brian?
So always trust your first instinct.
Considering some of the crap I've done, I've kept it fairly wrestling, but I want to do. I want to do some stuff.
Well, the interesting thing about wrestling is that wrestling's not just one thing, and that's what I really dig about Defiance now, because there's so many different, so many creative people who are doing absurd things, serious things, telling long-term stories, weaving stories together. Yeah. It's and it's just the different kinds of characters too that you can do. Wrestling lends itself to all kinds of craziness, and yeah, Defiance is
as long as it's written well.
Mm-hmm.
If it's written well, I mean, what are we all doing here if not just to pop ourselves and make each other, laugh or be like, and it's usually it's the balance of the absurdity and the at wrestling. Like I think Keys, I'm a big Keys stan.
Absolutely.
I've always loved Keys. Hey, I've always been jealous of what he's just gone. Yeah, all right, fuck it. Yeah, he's gonna fly in on a Zeppelin. I'm like, oh, you bitch. I love that. That's why I love Elephant and Brunk's entrance. I'm like, such a good idea. Wish I could do that.
Like I said to you earlier,
I'm literally without music now.
Yeah. Well, literally, Brunk kind of said that jokingly that, hey, I'm going to have him come in on an elephant wearing a tiny sweater. I think he said it in one of the chat rooms, and I messaged him. I'm like, you have to do that now, right? I'm calling your bluff. Like, you have to do that.
This is my favorite. It's my favorite era of Brunk. Dan Ryan, lame. I don't ever want to see Dan Ryan again. I like this current era of Brunk where he just doesn't give a shit and just wants to hang around in like the opening match and be stupid. Like that's perfect. That's for Justin and Brunk both are. They're like, I just want to. No, I don't. I'll just be on. Justin's like, I like being on Brazen. I like doing Brazen. I'm like, okay, do your thing, bro. You're gonna get over.
Brian, what about you? Have you had an opportunity to absorb the show both nights?
No. It was very long.
Fair enough.
I haven't even tried.
It was long.
I haven't even read the match my guys are in.
All right. Well, I'll just mute you. What do I press? No, I'm just kidding. Oh my god. Well, yeah, we're about to spoil probably a lot if we haven't already. Well, I guess you already know what's coming. You know the major beats, right?
Well, Brian, be careful. You might hear the end of your match on here.
And spoiler alert, I don't think you're gonna like it. So let
Roland wrote it. I didn't like it to begin with.
Oh my god. Let's talk about Dex Joy as champion. I kind of alluded to it earlier how he won the fist, took on like maybe the best opponent for an initial feud as the champion in Oscar Burns. Kind of vanquishes Vay Victus. I'd like to touch on that in a bit. Also, what their potential future might be, and kind of how that story's gone. And then Ed White comes in, who I'm not really familiar with the character, although you get pretty familiar pretty damn quick. You can see what the character is generally on a very surface level. And I think in a sense he's really the perfect foil for the perfect moment for Dex Joy, in that he's the first champ coming back to sort of get in the face of the every champ and kind of the new generation, if you will, of Defiance. So I dig that feud. How long ago did you know that Ed White was going to be a thing this go around?
Well, I want because just quick background. I think everybody saw my post like prefacing like, okay, I am not stealing this dude's character, but he and I handled him at the end together because he was, we had Fox and him in like a group called the Blood Diamonds, and when he left, I was like, I sort of ended Ed White. I was like, well, I'm gonna put him away then, respectfully. So I put him in jail. He went to jail for like tax evasion or something. I don't know. It's very ambiguous about the exact, but he went to, so for 8 years, no one's touched him. And then I came back and I'm like, well, Ed White's awesome. He's more or less like a kind of you take what were those Dos Equis commercials, most interesting man in the world, and mix him and Ted DiBiase together. Just kind of a smoky Southern Ted DiBiase. It's a great character. He was a billionaire that was like lived rough and got rich, and he was just a prick about it. And of course, in all his promos, he was friends with all these like famous people, and so I'm dropping like Steve Jobs and Elon Musk's name and stuff. So it's been fun, but it's scary because I don't want to do it shitty, because there are people still that remember, Justin and Brunk and Lindsay, and they all remember, I think, Ed White as a character, but I don't know, I can't remember all the history. I didn't write the character, so I'm calling it a soft reboot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still gonna take the luxury of calling him a former this champ and that champ, but it's like I didn't win the championships. But yeah, it's daunting because he's not mine, but I do feel kind of some ownership over him. So it's gonna be a fun feud because he's Ted DiBiase. He's a big prick, but he built the WrestlePlex in character. He when he was owner of the company, doing the like evil owner thing, we decided we didn't want to screw with arenas and stuff anymore, and just based the entire Fed in the WrestlePlex in New Orleans. And the original plan for the WrestlePlex, I had Ed and like these cameras, and there was like this so I wanted people to be able to do their promos and do the backstage stuff and blame it all on that was caught like GTV style on Ed's insane camera network throughout this building. And we had the gym and all. We had all these plans of the WrestlePlex being this big thing. There was I'm going to feature it, read uncut before the next arc, because I'm going to do I'm going to bring back this extending skybox that used to be in the arena of the WrestlePlex. It would like extend out over the audience, and he would do his like M. Bison, fuck y'all, I'm rich, eat my dick, like that was Ed White. It was so much fun.
I have bad news though, Evan. I have bad news. Since you've been gone, nobody reads uncut. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We know Brian does it.
They're gonna, because I'm planning, some stuff.
I still need to read the last uncut. I know that I suck. I totally have not read Greg's payoff to his summer long story.
I read Greg's match.
Mm-hmm.
I read it I just sat there and I was like, because it was honestly, it was after Marcus reached out and said, I'd love to work Ed White. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can do that. Sure. I wasn't planning on working with him at any point. He was a fifth, so I'm like, I'm just farting around. I don't want to.
Right.
Like, yeah, I want to work with that White. I'm like, I was like, oh shit, I better read the shit out of the last few shows, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So I went back and I was like, no, I'm even gonna read Uncut. I'm gonna read through that, and it was really good. I am ready for him to take some of what he's done with Terry Melton and JJ, and he's kind of been sitting in the corner with just his toys. And kind of like I'm doing my toys. Leave me alone. And so I'm ready for him to hook up somebody and really work. So because I think Terry Melton's a neat character. I
love Terry.
think he could do a lot of really good stuff. That match was really really fun. And like I said, like the fact that he went hard on fucking Uncut, like I like that. Like went hard, like hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoy that. And any Uncut that we can do at the WrestlePlex is cool for me because I enjoy.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of what he's done with Terry Melton, and obviously JJ Dixon is a coxman. He's a bit of a coxman now.
I'm glad he's put the other ones away. He's focusing now on her and him, and that's the loser leaves town stip was like solid. That was a solid match. He did a really good job. It's a fun read. Everyone read it.
I know I need to. I need to do that. Everyone reads Uncut. That's the new slogan. That's the new slogan, I think. Thoughts on the tag division? I'll just throw it out there to the group. PCP getting the titles back, which Mikey alluded to. You got Greg's NDR, Titanus Familia. I think I noticed today, and I have yet to read it because I'm horrible and I've been prepping other shit. But I noticed that Evan's been posting some stuff, some propaganda that I still need to check out.
My tag party stuff. I'm trying to bring. I've brought in a manager character. So I'm jealous of everybody that has these cool managers like Keeling and Morrow and Silver, and I'm always like, I want a manager. I've never done a manager, so I created an older lady named Doris Hilton, who's kind of like Julia Sugarbaker from Designing Women. Like
you and Greg are perfect for each other. That's all I'm gonna say. You and Greg are perfect for each other.
So she's a rich Southern lady from Houston that and I brought Felton Bigsby back as kind of her cocky pandered to. She wants to be a superstar, but I introduced Gordy Lovett, who I created in Classic, who is just a sweet Southern boy who just wants to be respectful and shake hands, and he's just a big. I always said he's like part Randy Quaid's cousin Eddie, part Terry Gordy. So he's just the second propaganda piece I posted was mostly him. I don't even have a backstage thing for him, but it's an interaction with Angus, and it's real. It's just one of those things where you write it and you go, "Fuck that! God dang, I did good. That was good. I'm really happy with that." So he's probably going to be my first baby face. I have plans now to make him a baby face character.
Nice. Yeah. No, you mentioned
Brazen.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm basing him on honestly Chris King in the Hall of Fame. Chris King, the micro designer, he had his character Sam Turner Jr. was kind of a sweet Southern, overall boy that just wants to, he was always a great babyface character, and that's one of the things I had in mind when I was farting with Cordy. I'm like, I want him to be sweet like that. I want him to be kind. Like it's hard to do. Babyface is hard to do. Speaking of Dex, like that's babyface is it's easy to be a prick. It's easy to write a prick. Just be a prick. To be like genuine, to be genuine and kind as fuck in a character in this kind of setting is hard because it's so easy to be like nerd. Shut up. Or he's like Lindsay Troy them. Just cut their knees out from under them if they're being kind. Sorry.
That's a real thing. That's a real thing.
I screw with Lindsay. I always say she's one of the best heels ever, but she's always such a lame baby face because because Troy is so mean. Troy's mean. Like she's a mean lady. Even when she's trying to be nice, she's so mean. So
oh, reminds me of my mom.
Yeah, it reminds me of my mom. That's why she's, I guess, the deaf mom. I don't know. But
well, there.
nice
See,
lady. Mean character, nice lady. But
Mikey,
no,
Mikey, I want
I read.
to. Hold on, Evan, enough out of you,
Go
Mikey. I want Mikey timeout for 2 minutes, or Evan timeout for 2 minutes. No, I'm kidding. Mikey, I want to ask you about your return to Defiance and kind of what precipitated that, because I think the last time I talked to you, you were like, "I'd love to do it, man, but I'm fucking busy," and I have a feeling that's still true.
That's still
We're all busy. We're all busy.
Yeah,
Everybody's
yeah.
busy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just-
So,
I started reading the shows, and I started reading the shows. I started getting back into the characters, the ones that I really liked, and I said, you know what? Maybe I do have some time. Maybe I can squeeze some time in for this. And
mhm.
also, shout out to Joe. He came up with what I thought was a great way for me to come back, and he's just like, "Hey, if you're ever interested, I have this idea, and I think you're great for it." Brian, you were originally involved in the idea, and
I never said yes to.
we tweaked it. Brian never said yes to anything that I've asked him, but he's always done it.
Oh, this is the age of consent, Mikey. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, we're all consensual. All right. So Joe hit me with a great idea, and I started reading the shows, and I said, "You know what? Let's speed that timeline up, Joe. What do you think?" And he was like, "Oh, hell yeah!" And that was it. And that was like an arc ago that I hit the staff up and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about coming back."
Yeah, when you started beefing, yeah, when you started beefing and like clearly reading the shows, I'm like, oh, it's only a matter of time. It's got it. Nobody, because I've been there where it's like, all right, I'll check it out. I'll read that. That's how I got sucked in. I did your podcast. Brian invited me to the Discord, and I was a creepy lurker for like 4 or 5 months, and then finally I'm like, all right, I guess I have time. Right.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, I'll
no,
give it a shot.
I love Defiance. If I was going to come back anywhere, it was always going to be here.
Mhm.
There's no place else to do it, in my opinion. It's like I've looked and it's like, no.
Yeah, but I haven't written a
No,
character now in a year and a half, 2 years.
Well, yeah, it was. I think I looked when I posted that sign. I looked to see what Mikey's last show was. It was July 2021. So
Yeah,
2
Axe
years.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or no,
It's a long time. It changes, like the amount that the Fed changes in just that amount of time, and you get back, and it's intimidating. I was all right. Thank you. I was intimidated. Like for the first little while, like I was really intimidated. I was like, I don't know who fucking anybody is. I don't know who handles who. Oh God, fuck me. I don't know what to do. My own. Like I shouldn't do this. But it takes reading.
But as you start
Reading
reading,
cards.
it's like, oh, I want to
Yeah.
work with that guy. I want to work with that character. I want to face that guy. So
Dude,
it's,
yeah, I got to talking to Roland, and it was like, yeah, okay. And then we thought about Gage and Box and Scottish, and we started shooting shit back and forth. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this could be really cool. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. So it's that's all you need is somebody to be like, hey, do some stuff. There's some cool stuff we could do. And if you've ever
Right.
been into this game in any capacity, you're like, oh yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. It's an itch that'll never go away.
let's run through these.
That's another angle I
Just,
said.
just like quick. Okay, what
The
do you
matches. You want the match?
Yeah.
The matches? Yeah. All right. That's what we kind of done in the past, and I sometimes just felt like it was too. I don't know, but
think? We'll
listen,
just do it.
Mikey,
Nice.
I'm with you, man. Unified tag team match, night 1. Flex Appeal, you're champions.
Great way to start the whole pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Feel good story and really
Yep.
built the tension all through the match for the big turn.
Yeah, and I think
I hope Flex sticks around.
I was going to mention that. Like, I think that obviously PCP getting back together is that feel good moment, and something that Billy and Ford do so well is those like touching storyline climaxes where there's emotion. They've done it so many fucking times, honestly, since I've been in Defiance, and it's like each time you sort of forget about the last time they did it, until you're reading it, you're like, oh my god, they're doing it to me again. They're fucking doing it again. But yeah, so while I'm excited to see PCP back together, I do think that Flex Kruger and Kyle Shields are a ridiculous tandem. A great pairing. Flex poised for a singles run is interesting.
I would like to see, like, I hope he doesn't go back in the shelf. I would like to see Flex still do stuff, and if they put him away, I know I could think of something to do with him, because that's just one of the dumbest characters I helped. Like that, and I blame Justin for the name, but he's fucking. And the fact that was one of the ones that they
Freddy Krueger
just
connotation, and then Flex, right? Yeah, it's interesting. Spates, David Fox, the battle with the walkie-talkies functionality on the line. I've never seen such a thing. But man, you want to talk about stakes? Nobody builds high stakes into a fantasy E-Fed wrestling match better than Ross Ermermanian. And he came through. I know Rob was really swamped and he's been going through a lot of shit this arc. But I enjoyed this match. I thought it was a great little pay-per-view, exactly what it needed to be. And obviously the finish was just stupid, which is on brand. Incredibly on brand.
I've been following this one through Uncut and the build up to this, and it's been awesome. I love the walkie-talkie gimmick. I love the quick segments that just crack you up in between the show. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I agree. What do we have next? So Cyrus Bates. Oh, and Cyrus Bates, and that's the other thing. Cyrus Bates is going to call home. He's going to call a home nest, and I want to know like what the fuck is he going to do now? Like what does that even mean? What is that? What could that possibly mean? He's going to contact the home nest. Like what the hell? Up next, more tag team action. Brian's just shaking his head. Oh my god, I get fucking lightheaded. I get lightheaded laughing at this shit. Yeah. Oh my god. All right. So more tag team action up next. Titanus Familia, Dan Leo James, and Titanus taking on the Devil's Circus. It's the Suave Savage and Gestal. I thought this was great. Put over the heel team, which needed the win more certainly than Los Familias does. So I thought this absolutely did the job. Some really good moments in there. I enjoyed this.
Definitely agree. Thought it was a good tag team match. You were talking about the tag team division. Strong.
Right, that's another team. Yeah. Yep.
So I was surprised. I thought this was going to go the other way. And so I always enjoy that when it catches you off guard at the end.
Good call.
Is it pronounced Gestal?
I've always said Gestal.
Me too.
I have no clue. I have no earthly idea.
But granted, I called Eli Flair Ellie for like 8 years.
Ellie.
You know what? That's what I'm gonna call him from now on. That's who that is. That is Ellie fucking Flair. Come here, like a little, like a border collie.
I guess I never heard the name Elijah or Eli. I don't know why I thought that. Yeah, I thought it was I was ready Gestal.
No, that's fine. For some reason, that's how I've always. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Look,
this is exciting.
Your version has a little more panache on it. Gestal.
I am the French clown. Oh god. Oh my god. All right, so let's see here. Up next, Mikey. What was next? We have Connor and Arthur.
Yeah.
The build up to this had been pretty cool. And I actually Arthur's been on a tear. Like Arthur, I don't think Arthur's been on a tear since he's been back, since his return, as far as like wins and losses. So he kind of continues that. A win over Connor Fuse on pay-per-view means something, god damn it. And I thought this was a pretty badass, hard-hitting, brutal match, which I think the show needed in this spot. So I thought that was cool.
Hell of an ending. He hit him
Yes.
with like 6 finishers, pinned him, hit him again.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. Just killed him at the end. But hey, yeah, shout out to Pleasant. He comes off super strong at the end and kind of crazy, which I
Yeah.
is the
And Connor Fuse, as I pronounce his name. Yeah, that's what that is. No, but Connor loses nothing in the loss. Like, you know what I mean? Like it all it does it helps Arthur out, and it doesn't diminish the character of Connor Fuse at all. I think it also because of how well Arthur's been kind of positioned and protected coming into this. So yeah, it was pretty good. I loved it.
A lot of credible wins for smarmy little heels on this pay per view. Like his Ned
Right.
won, Malik won, Arthur won. So
Yeah.
how about those?
That's a good call.
Yeah.
They've all kind of like they were all kind of haha heels that all they're turning into little world beaters.
Devil Circus. Yeah.
Right. All right. So we have the Lucky Sevens and Mantra. Mantra. I don't know. Jesus Christ. I'm nervous pronouncing every name now.
I think it's pronounced Fordentra.
Yeah.
Well, don't I feel stupid?
Mantra,
Oh, man.
mantra, something, right?
Yeah. Well, again, the tag team division. Holy shit. The fact that, like, the list is getting crazy. Because at one point it seemed like in Defiance that tag teams were sort of dropping. And I think a lot of people stepped up to sort of fill that void all at once. And it's converging into a pretty awesome situation. Both of these tag teams, super credible. Certainly, the Lucky Sevens being turned on by Tom Morrow was a fun surprise. Although I get another one of those things that I should have just fucking seen coming, but I didn't, and I suck. And just a testament to the brilliance of the writer.
That's what I want to know.
It's easier to list the ones he doesn't.
Right? That's what I'm saying. It's like half the roster. He is Jimmy Hart. He is Bobby Heenan. He is the quintessential 80s heel.
I think that's the first match ever where the manager managed both tag teams and probably the referee too. He might have. He might. Let me see who the ref was. I don't remember who the referee was.
What was this? Was this Shields? I love what's happened to Mark Shields.
Yes.
Like the former most boring referee character we had is now like I want the Shields brothers to be like the Boyle family in Brooklyn Nine-Nine with like 17 awful people that all have something Shields. Like,
is there's got to be a sister or a daughter or an aunt or something.
Back to your point, Evan. Here's another tag team that's smarmy heels coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Sevens, I love Lucky. I think just
I love
visually he paints. So and he's kind of alluded to what he's doing, and I'm really excited to see that happen because I think it'll be fun.
Well, I mean the way that the way that he kind of he did the face turn, talking about all the Lucky Sevens accomplishments along the way, like, why wouldn't you cheer from them? This is a team that's done this. This is a team that's done that. Where, like, a lot of times, if it's a heel team, at least the way it was done was very subtle to, like, lead you to that moment. Yeah. And really great writing. I love this match, and I love Declan Alexander's naivety and he just doesn't really fully understand what's happening around him, but not I'm assuming it's great.
Nobody read the uncut segment that they did.
I don't know.
Long uncut segment.
I don't know if I did.
That Mantra did. It was good. It was pretty good.
What is uncut?
So you got to read uncut.
I know I did.
It kept going on and on. I gave the feedback that the Mantra gives me big like early days Edge and Christian energy a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if that tracks, but one's a bit more animated. But it's
Brian.
They're good. Yeah, like a lot of good tag teams.
I'm sending Brian right now the link to Uncut, just so he can take a look.
I'm sure.
See, it's the show that we do is like a B show. I don't know if you.
What's a B show?
The best.
All right, so I'm trying to remember what comes after this match. It's the main event, folks. For the Southern Heritage Championship, Henry Keys drops the strap to the monster, the silent beast, Corvo Alpha. This was fun to write. I normally hate match writing, and I dread main events. And when I saw this was the main event, I had a mini panic attack. I'm like, fuck, I gotta write this? Like, okay, all right, I'm just gonna write 7 pages. My plan was this is gonna be 7 pages of 4 moves. Okay. And then I saw it was the main event, and I'm like, well, fuck, now I gotta do like 7 moves. So I ended up doing 6.
Bargain with yourself.
Yeah, you got to negotiate. But yes, this was a lot of fun to write. I used to just write matches like stream of consciousness, just write it. And this was like one of the first ones I did where I actually like plotted out, here's exactly what's going to happen. And that helped me a lot. Took me a long ass time to write, but I enjoyed it.
I can't not do an outline. I'm so ADHD, and if I was just writing stream of consciousness move for move and the announcer, I'm like, wait, what did I do? What happened?
Yeah.
Where am I at in the match? I have to do the bullet point thing where it's just sort of, and I'll even put the announcer stuff between the bullet points. It's the match part. I can't wrap my brain around the whole thing, especially a long one. I get lost. I'm dumb.
I like that despite the smarmy heels getting the better of the show, we start with a good story, we end with a good story. Everyone comes in happy, leaves happy.
It's a compliment sandwich.
Right. Well, and Corvo's kind of like that unlikely baby face. Somebody said it's like no, I'm sorry. Yes. Sorry, you are the unlikely baby. So Corvo's kind of like the unwitting babyface, or where I was actually nervous turning him babyface. I wasn't sure if it would work, but I'm like, I'm out of ideas, so this is what I'm doing, and this is the new plan. And I hope I think I pulled it off to a degree, and I've got ideas, and some twists. But yeah, I'm excited to carry the Southern Heritage Championship into the future.
I love
or
it.
for at least like another 2 weeks. Oh my God! How about freaking the Brian? Don't read this match, by the way. Please just you read the match. Skip the entrance. Skip Brush's entrance.
Skip Key's entrance. You're probably not going to enjoy.
He had 17 wagons with giant billboards on them, illustrating all of his conquer. It's basically his triumph. Yeah, his victories. It was a testament to a man, a monument, a monument to a reign that most just aspire to.
After Corvo just like walks to the ring, essentially, all of a sudden it's just like.
How many? I think it's 4. I think
so hard at that shit.
Yeah, I think it's funny you pointed that out, Evan, and I didn't pick up on that. But yes, you're right. And yes, Brian, I think it's 4 pages of just the dumbest shit ever. It's wonderful. It's great.
Not how long is
so
it? How long is the aisleway for 7 wagons? Like,
I don't even know the physics of it. As I'm reading it, I'm like, where are these billboards going? Where are the carts going?
It's never really spelled out.
Guys, it's fantasy wrestling. Come on.
Matter.
I
Fantasy wrestling. Yeah, exactly.
I've heard it both ways.
Okay.
Wonderful.
But yes,
strikes a great balance. I will maintain that.
But yes, to Mikey's point, the book ended of the happy moments. That was kind of what we tried to do there, and that was your night 1. I thought the balance of matches was really good. I think the one thing that if it's Roland, if it's Seth, if it's Ford, the way the matches are often paced, almost every show makes sense for like if you were watching a pay-per-view. Here's like a little bit of a relief match. Here's this. Here's that. Here's the story being told here. Then it's going here. So yeah, I thought this was a good show. And I'm not just saying that because I won a title on it and wrote the main event.
Doesn't hurt though, right?
It helps.
Feels good.
It helps. It helps a lot. I'm gonna grab a beer. I'll be 2 seconds. Go ahead.
Great show. Great night 1. Makes you look forward to night 2. big title
Night
change.
one was good, but night two slapped. Night two was just like it was an exceptional e-record. I thought night two was just crazy good.
Yeah, night two had a lot going on, and I don't, it probably wouldn't be possible, but I almost wish that the Mikey return, yes, if the Mikey return happened on night one, or something, and then Ed White was night two, it would sort of, in my eyes, sort of balance out that, because there was a lot of those wow factors, right? There was hard hitting matches and great stories on both, but when you you have that all that on night two, and then you add those two returns, it does feel like, well, shit.
You could have flip flopped. You could have flip flopped the main events and had the world
Either way,
the fist
you know.
on the
Right.
night one and
I agree with you.
They were both huge matches and could have fit.
I think Roland put this together, and on paper, without considering any of that, he probably knew I would have blown a gasket if the fist isn't main event night two.
True. True.
To me, no matter what's going on, that's got to be the last match. It drives me nuts when a world title is second or third to last match on a card. Which, I mean, and that seems, I think sometimes that seems a little too particular and too persnickety. But to your point earlier about the tag team division and how, as it was a little bit declining, everyone rallied to it and kind of filled in the gaps, and we still probably have one of the better tag team divisions in e-vetting, fantasy wrestling, however. And I think a lot of that is because a couple years ago we decided like the tag team division had to be treated better. It had to be treated like it's a tag title.
You didn't want to be Vince.
Well, it's a world title. It's a tag team, but it's still a world title. So we, especially when we got to having to do the 2 nights, that was one of the benefits. We were able to start like night one main event could be the tag titles, and just to give them the due they deserve. And I think that helps.
There was a stretch, there was a stretch of probably 8 or 9 at least arcs where the tag titles were the main event, right? Probably more than that. You may have gone over a year.
And don't get me wrong, I think he's the only one I ever held here. But like, I love the Soher, and I always love to see it in a prominent position. But at the same time, like treating those tag world titles like world titles is so important to keeping that division healthy. Especially when everyone turns on the TV to watch, wrestling in real life, and it's tag teams are treated like shit. Even in the company where it's executive whatever is a tag team, it's still like their tag team division is still kind of in shambles.
What's funny, when you mentioned the fist being, I was like, because when I was bringing Edward White back, I was like, it's kind of ironic when he totes himself as the first fist, because when the fist was introduced, it was the Intercontinental belt. Mm-hmm. The world title was because when I bet that last Germany main show I posted on DEFCOM, the main event the main event was the world title, the Defiance world title, and the fist was me, and I think it was me and Brunk and Eugene on that card. But yeah, so the fist started itself as kind of the B title, and ironically the last world tour, the Grindhouse tour that we did, where we toured like Japan and Germany and whatever, Brunk and I were feuding over the fist, and I forget what happened to the world title, but I do remember it was when me and Brunk and Damien were passing the fist around through the Germany arc, was when we all kind of went, all right, well, I guess the fist is the world title, whatever. I don't remember what happened to the world title, though. It was so long ago.
I thought they were unified at some point. I have to look.
Were they unified? I don't remember, because I remember I unified because originally Defiance had the heavyweight crown, and then when the WFWA folded, Box beat Boston Bancroft for the WFWA world title, and we created the Defiance world heavyweight title, and then the Fist happened. So I don't know. Something got merged. A bunch of stuff got merged along the way. Whatever the world title in Def is now is like 4 different title belts all kind of mushed together into one.
Like the
It's
5
the
tag
Ultimo
belts.
Dragon.
Honestly,
Ultimo Dragon. Yeah.
are they still 5? Because I was the one that started the Brazen. I was the one that had the bright idea of creating a trios title for Brazen. I know.
So that
Is that why it's 5 titles?
yeah, so the trios, it literally just set on the Viking War Cult for years on end, because they're not a lot was happening with Brazen, and then Seth took Brazen back up, but also was like, man, there's really no reason. I forget it was after that UTA invasion, and it was I forget what was going on with them. We put them on the Stevens dynasty. I forget the name. Anyhow, so like they were both
That sounds right though. Yeah.
on the main roster, and it's like, all right, let's unify them. And the whole idea was, whoever was winning them, I blank on it now. Let them carry around the 5 titles for like an arc, and then we'll just do away with them, and it'll just be it'll be unified. It'll be 2 belts again. Why, like 2 years later, there's still 5 titles? I don't know. I guess everyone just loves the Ultimo Dragon effect. Whatever. Doesn't hurt anything.
One of these days, I might get the bright idea to split those things in half. I might go after them belts.
Cut the 3rd belt in half.
I love those Vikings.
I think the big thing was just the trios trying to tag team was suffering so hard, and we were trying to rehabilitate it. It was like, all right,
yeah,
trio. If we can't get tag team to work, trios is a lost cause.
Might work now with the way Seth's doing Brazen and with how much creativity is going on there. It's like, holy mackerel!
It might work now.
I'm really excited for Tag Party.
Main roster characters.
What's that, Brian?
Have it be like a. What'd you say?
No, it might work now with Seth's 600 main roster characters.
Yeah, that's aspirational for me. I'm working on that.
Well, we can all aspire. You're never gonna hit the number. You're not gonna hit that number.
No, there's no way. Like what? Because like the way that he's just spread across the card, up and down the card.
Seth is the Dean Malenko of e-wrestling.
He's the Jerry Lynn.
I think he's a little more interesting. Let's talk night 2.
I say that as if
his holds. Yes. So night 2 kicked off, and we already touched on this match a little bit. We talked about Brunk's Genius, MV1, Scott Hunter.
Let's not go that far. Okay, the elephant was fucking awesome, but I don't know about
the elephant's great. Scott Hunter is a fun character, and like literally our creative conversations through this arc were, hey, what if we did this? And he'd suggest something, I'd be like, sure, and then we just do it. And then it was just everything just came so easy, because Scott Hunter, Brunk's reactions as Scott Hunter. I think there's a couple scenarios where I'm like, here's what I think should happen. You figure out how Scott Hunter gets us there, just with you being you. And he was able to easily do that because I feel like I think Scott Hunter is just an extension of Brunk's goofiness, his natural humor. It's like it's Brunk's humor turned to 11 is Scott Hunter. It's bad
it's
dad
him,
jokes.
Like I said, in a place where he's just we're all he's busy. He doesn't have time. It's not that he doesn't have effort, but it's just he's in a different place in his life, and the idea of him having to get all serious and be Dan Ryan again, I can tell he's like, I want to be. He's in this dumb phase of his in the best way, dumb of the hobby for him, and I really enjoy Scott Hunter a lot.
Yeah, Scott Hunter's great. Another classic creation making its way to Defiance. I'd love to see it. And he's hilarious. He was so fucking funny writing 1,000-word role plays. Now that he's unleashed and he can write whatever he wants, it's going to be even better.
Yeah. And literally, just like I said, creative process really easy. MV1 I struggle writing him sometimes unless I have a very clear vision of where I'm going with him. And I know eventually where I want to go, but it's timing. So, MV1's on the shelf. Okay, he'll be fine. Everything's fine. They're gonna check out the knee. Okay, I'm sure it'll be fine. In the meantime, in the meantime, I need to synchronize my Swatch watches on this one and get my stories in the same spot. And that's my fucking problem. Okay, so let me deal with that. Oh man, but yes, this is fun. Anyway, fuck you, Brunk. Thanks for being you, brother. The elephant off the elephant crossbody. I'm claiming that was my idea.
The elephant crossbody was huge.
That was he wrote this match, by the way.
Came out, I was like, somebody's jumping off that elephant.
It's like
as I was reading
Chekhov's revolver.
The fact that I didn't realize the elephant was still there. You get to a point in the match, and he's like, and then the elephant's over there, and I'm like, wait, the elephant didn't leave.
My God!
Somebody's jumping off that elephant.
I think that's the first. Go ahead, Brian. Yeah.
Somebody paid for. So in this world, somebody.
Go ahead. Talk it through. Talk it through.
Someone or several someones paid top dollar for these front row seats. And for this entire match, not only had an due to a elephant-sized elephant, they also had to smell the kennel match. All those dogs took shits. You don't think that elephant took a shit?
That's a missed opportunity.
Of the elephant chilling there, because you think, the elephant walked out. Obviously, the elephant made the entrance, and he went back up, and the match is happening, and they don't mention.
Maybe that happened.
Match, and it's like, and then I had this image of this sweet little elephant standing there, still in a vest, just sort of not knowing what's going on.
We totally missed the opportunity though of Scott Hunter slipping in elephant shit. That was Brian. I'm sorry. Now I feel like I let you down. With that.
They didn't consider the poop.
The match. The match should have hinged. Like the finish of the match should have hinged on a wild a PETA animal rights activist hitting the ring.
Right. Good call. Topless with the website painted on her boobs.
WWF.
No, EWTs. Please, come on.
EWTs. There was an EWTs reference in this show.
It's true. It's true. There was actually, Mikey, I told you, there was a Mikey Unlikely reference in the main event of night one. The DDK was talking about Key's 448 day long reign. Not many people can claim to do that. And Lance replies, "It's unlikely that anyone else could," or something like that, and then makes the reference to the champion who had the longer stretch. Anyway, so the Flying Men, which I love that name, take on Tyler Fuse, Victor Vasio, and Gerardo Villalobos.
Is that what they call it? That sucks.
What's that? Yeah, I think it's a video game reference. I think it's a reference to a Nintendo game or something, or a Sega game. I'm gonna be roasted for getting that wrong.
Not a fan.
But it makes sense if you think about High Flyer, right? Then obviously Jack Harmon, then you have Flying Frenchie in the match. Come on, do I need to explain that your own angle to you? Is that where I'm at in this situation?
Brian, they're all men. They all fly. They're the Flying Men.
I checked. In all honesty, I checked out of this angle like 4 weeks ago.
Brian checked out this angle 4 years.
Check back in, okay? Can we? Or will you check back in? What's the future hold for Victor Vasio and Los Caidos?
I'm not sure. I was just thinking about it while we were doing this. I think he might be injured.
Oh shit! He got MV1. Oh damn!
He got David Fox, MV1.
Well, I actually have an idea that I was thinking about today. I'm going to hit you up, and then you can tell me no. Which I think that's where that's going. So let me just put an X through that. Okay. I enjoyed this match. Again, 3-on-3. The Flying Men lived up to their name. Tyler Fuse was interesting in his lack of participation. He was constantly involved, but never tagged in. I thought that was really unique. It's not something I necessarily picked up on as I read it.
Good heel work.
Yeah,
Really at the
yeah.
end. Like, hey, he hadn't done shit. What an asshole.
But it's brilliant and it's unique. Like I don't think I've ever seen that before.
But he keeps teasing it. Like he keeps on like and then jumping down. Great
Yeah.
heel work.
Yeah, that was fun. I'm intrigued to see where it goes, and I think I speak for everyone but Brian. I think we all are intrigued to see where it goes. I think Brian would be intrigued to see where the fuck was it? Where has it been?
Brian's interested in where his character goes when someone else writes it.
Oh my god. Oh, I love it. Oh man, up next, No Holds Barred. Bronson Box and Gage Blackwood take on the Honor Society. This was awesome. I'm a huge Bronson Box mark, so more of that is always super welcome for me. That's a character that I've been annoying about how much I wanted him back, and this match absolutely delivered. This was a lot of fun. I loved the finish. I know that Joe is working diligently at diligently. That's a weird way to use it, but I know Joe is working, like wants to make Ned more of a threat of a competitor and not just the goofy, smart guy, and I think over the last couple arcs he's done that, and this is another one of those moments that I think sells that for me anyway. So I thought this was cool. Mikey, your thoughts before Evan chimes in on the angle, because I know Evan.
I say Joe was great. Joe is a great feud partner. So I'm really looking. I bet you're gonna have a lot of fun. Ned's a hilarious character.
I thought it was a great match. I was telling Evan prior to reading this that one of my favorite matches of all e-wrestling history is Andy Murray versus Bronson Box.
I remember the match.
Or Kale Murray.
It may have been Kale.
Yeah, it's Kale. We did a whole thing. I killed Andy way before that. The character, Andy, not the actual What Culture, employee.
I thought it was. It brought me back to that match because of some of the stuff, like the bear taking the mat off the ring and just.
That's why I did it.
I popped huge for that.
Did you catch, if anyone watched AEW that night? Christian fucking stole that shit out from under me. I already had that written in doc. And Joe messaged me. He's like, dude, Christian just stole our spot. I'm like, son of a bitch. Tore the goddamn canvas off. I'm like, you bastard.
Well, you've written in the past. They got it from that.
Yeah, obviously. They're just stealing from
us. But also theft. But also
theft.
Yeah, yes. Oh my god.
Match. I felt bad after writing the feedback because I didn't mention anything about anybody else besides Ned and Bronson Box. But that's, to me, what it felt like. It felt like that was the story. That was what I wanted.
I wrote the first bit of them. I worked on a bunch of the bullet point layout, and then I helped write the first bit, and then Joe just killed the last half of it. Roland didn't do anything. Roland in Europe. So he was like, hey, man, I've written all this, and I kind of realized like Gage Blackwood hadn't really done a whole lot near the end, and I'm like, and we both just sort of went, fuck, Roland,
right,
whatever. Roland probably would understand. He's like, I didn't mean to turn it into a one-on-one match. Like, Levi's just a brazen guy, and Roland's gone. So yeah, it's a one-on. It sort of ended up.
That was the story, though, right?
That was. It came down to what the story. He did a great job.
At one point, there was a point in the story where I thought that Gage Blackwood might join the Honor Society, and his lack of involvement, like in the match, sort of. There was a moment where I'm like, "Is that what's coming? That would be cool, because that would also extend the feud, right? Because that's what I also want. I wanted that.
Let's put it this way: the fact that he picked up on the callback to the Andy Murray. Kale Murray, Bronson Box, Scotland War thing angle we did. That was very intentional, and it will play into where Roland and I are going with this story. So
Awesome.
it's going to be a
Awesome.
lot of fun. Once he gets back, yeah, I'm really looking forward to really hitting. He's been busy. We haven't
Better
really
not
gotten
tell me
to
more.
it.
It's all an act.
It's all in the ether right now.
Roland's not busy.
Well, Roland went on vacation to like Ireland and/or Scotland. He's doing research apparently.
Yeah, exactly. He's taking tax write-offs for Defiance.
He's getting ready for Def Radio. Oh man! All right, so
Yeah,
Ned Reform gets the pin on Bronson Box, which is another great moment. Which
Huge for Ned.
yes,
He's a 50-year-old man. He's 50,
Yeah.
so it's like I'm like he
That's
can
awesome.
lose. Like he's still a monster, and I'll get the
Box is a
like.
legend. He comes
I'm
off
glad that I have.
This is a big win.
I'm glad I have a character that can be considered that. Like I'm really happy. Like I was so happy because I was reading. I was like Ned was one of the characters. I'm like, well, I want to work with Ned. I wanted to work with the Sevens. I wanted to work with Dex, and I'm getting to work with a lot of people I want to work with. And Joe's just a lot of fun. Ned, I was like, of course I'll like if losing, if putting over Ned helps Ned sort of in everyone's eyes get to this other level, because I heard a few different people lens and say like, oh, Ned's like it's up here now. And I'm like, cool, okay, if that's what happened, be my dumb character. Like I'm really happy that like and later on the segment with Mikey, it's like I'm like the fact that it was like a championship celebration. I'm like, just beat me, like, but that was really nice. Thank you.
I think he's doing it really well. So I don't mean this in the pejorative, but seems like what Joe's trying to do with Reform is kind of a Randy Orton-ish kind of stepping him up kind of thing, which is just he's doing it perfectly.
And it's working, yeah. It doesn't feel like Randy Orton necessarily. It's just
Or like the Miz, like somebody that was exclusively kind of a silly segment,
not taken seriously, right.
Sort of by the grace of by sheer will, in character-wise, like becomes much more like I could see that Ned's concluded that that's what he wanted to do at the end. I'm like, fuck yeah,
sort of like
stab
band.
Sort of like what?
3-man band. Now so we start with Orton, we go Miz, we started just stepping him down the cards. We're like sort of like Barry Horowitz.
Hey,
he's like
one
Mansoor.
of the members of 3-man band became a world champion after that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but
the greatest
how that
one.
works.
The greatest one. Oh man. Yeah. So huge win there. We go to the only segment on both nights, really. The only backstage type thing. Travel issues with Uriel Cortez. Venting about his frustrations and his intentions now as the new Favored Saints champion, taking the belt from Butch Vick at the last Uncut. That's true. That's true. Evan, I will grant you that.
This last
listen, I've done shit on Uncut. Let me be very clear that I've done a lot of Uncut shit. Okay, so this is not. I'm not averse. Okay, Brian on the other hand, no, I'm just kidding. Brian used to do a lot of Uncut shit.
When I first came in, I got over on Uncut.
Yes, that is true.
Because it's called Uncut because back in the Ruthless days, like your shit would just get cut from Def TV. You'd be like, sorry, we voted.
No explanation. Sorry.
And so it was like, hey guys, how about we take all of this creative energy that we're throwing in the garbage and let people have fun. And
yeah, so that's how Brian's garbage got over, which is
because I've brought this up before in other ones, and there was no one there who could agree or deny. But you could probably, because based on what you just said. So as I knew, Uncut is always as it is.
Always
now.
been a clip show. It's always been a clip show.
Except matches. The matches were added. Just we had too many matches.
Right.
But when then there was the whole eye patch era. But I digress. Justin had told me at one point. Originally, the original conceit of Uncut was not to be a clip show, was not to be a B show. It was to be a a one-on-one, Mankind, Jim Ross style, sit down interview with Angus.
That is vaguely.
Well,
Now, whenever you talk to me or Justin or about old deaf stuff, consider that we both smoke a lot. And when we go back and forth trying to figure remember stuff, it's like, didn't we? No, wait, who was that fucking guy? Was there a guy? I don't know. I don't remember. Like it. So, but yeah, that might have been the original conceit. It was like an interview thing, but eventually it just was like, well, can I? Well, it just became where all the leftover stuff went.
Yeah.
It was just
Well,
like
and
everyone had.
I was saying, at one point it was actually hosted by Angus.
Yeah.
In that each episode did start with a introduction from him, but then that was it.
That
And
went away, and like I know there's always been like, well, when do the matches happen, and when are they for? So it's like we settled that it happens before Def TV if there's a match. Like, is that like
Yeah.
recorded like
Yeah, I think-
Rampage or whatever?
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, it's just one of those things where like, whatever, man. It's
You're right.
more
Yeah.
creative storyline forward stuff can happen.
Back to the travel issues segment. No offense.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not trying to knock you guys out here, but this is the EWTs, and I just found it. This is the reference here. Brian.
Oh, that's true.
Here. Hold on here.
Who says it?
Eric Dane Jr.
Oh,
talking to
there's
Uriel.
Justin popping somebody with something.
He's probably me. Eric Dane
I
Jr.
told you, giving him that free shirt was worth it.
Hey, it took a while. Paid off.
said
How
you were
about
dealing
Yeah.
with the kind of travel issues that come with flying out to the EWT's office and having those merch goons print you up a brand new T-shirt.
I went back for Justin and because like coming into when he wanted to come back, he was like, I remember he was like, "You're in deaf, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." I came back and he's like, "It's pretty cool. Everything's going, yeah." And back and forth. And finally, it led to bringing it to the group, and Justin wanted to come back, but he was telling me what he wanted to do. He's wanted to do the shitty millennial son, or I think even younger son of Eric Dane that Eric hates him. The kid's name is not Eric Dane Jr. His shoot name is like, I forget what he told me. It's some awful,
like the
East
mother's
Coast
name,
sound
the mother's
like-
last name?
yeah, or just yucky. And but so he
Mhm.
lifted Eric's name and his reputation, and it's just is a piece of shit. But like what I'm enjoying as well is Angus, because I always tell Justin, like, you're the character that you handle is Angus. Everything else that you throw in Angus's orbit, it's fun. I'm like, do that. So he's doing that with Eric Dane Jr., where Angus is the one kind of like, I find it interesting that Angus is sitting back watching this idiot make a fool of himself, but Angus seems very pleased with it all. So I enjoy the characterization of Angus and the kind of like behind the scenes player that he's become. Like he knows what he's doing. Like Eric Jr. seems like a complete fucking chode.
Oh, 100%. I said it in my
Angus is back there kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I think.
always love-
Go ahead, Brian.
I always loved writing Angus. And a matter of fact, to the uncut thing, I was the last one doing those intros, and that's why they stopped, because I just stopped writing them. But one of Defiance's biggest losses was Angus on commentary. So I mean, to have Angus back in any capacity is awesome.
Angus
You
is
know
a
what
hard
has
guy to
recently
grasp.
sold
I
me
think.
on
I
Lance
think
Warner.
I would say I hated writing him. I hated writing Angus because everybody wrote him differently, and I couldn't
Yes.
get the feel. what
Same.
Angus was supposed to be. And then people would bitch about it, how somebody wrote Angus, and I'm just like, well, let's find consistency. And
Yeah, my first
I'm
run
saying,
here,
like,
I had the same experience. Yeah, yeah. I if I could find a way not to write Angus, I would take that opportunity. Because I didn't feel comfortable doing it, just because the character, he is who he is, and that's intimidating for somebody coming in, for sure. So yes, I agree with
It's like-
Brian. I get it because the character is awesome when it's done right, but and I like writing other characters. I really enjoy writing. I sometimes have more fun writing dumb shit with other people's characters in matches and stuff, and having them do stuff that I think would be in character, and having the creator popping the creator of that character be like, dude, that's awesome that you did that. That's perfect. Like, but I wouldn't. I don't want to write Angus because I don't. I don't. Yeah. So I'm excited to see him written by exclusively by Justin here. Be so that I can figure it out. As weird as that sounds, I'm definitely with Mikey there.
Well, and the funny thing about that is, honestly, to see it exclusively written by Justin, it probably will actually be a different animal than what it was prior. I mean, in that time period, I was commended for how I wrote him, and Justin probably wouldn't agree with this, but all I did, I wrote Keebler like JR, just not as country, and I wrote Angus like King, but dirtier. And then obviously per the character who he's talking about, there was that forum that everyone kept pretty updated
Yep.
of how Angus views their character. It was I just wrote it like a mid '90s episode of Raw, but exchange out
Yes.
stupid euphemisms like puppies and just go for it because Angus is a dirtbag.
Right.
He's a unique. It's a really unique character. That is like he struggled some about the. I was like, you should do Angus on Deaf Radio, and he's like, well, I can't do his voice. I'm like, his voice is just you.
Nobody. Yeah.
It's just
yeah.
you.
And it doesn't matter.
Him. He's you.
It doesn't matter.
Like,
yeah.
and he's like, I guess so. He's like, he's from the same place as you. Of course, it's you.
Yeah, just do it straight, and if anything, have Paul's like pitch it up a little bit.
But he's a cool character, and I like what he's doing with Eric Jr. I'm excited to see he's still getting his confidence back. He's still getting his he's still in like the water wings of Brazen, and I'm like, it's gonna get over. I'm like, it's a cool idea, like because everybody's second gen character is kind of cool. Like there are a lot of second gen characters in the Fed now, and they all kind of come in like, I'm the son of so and so, and I fucking rule at jiu-jitsu and karate, and I'm gonna, yeah, and so I was just like, and he was like, do you think it would work? Like, what the fuck is this idiot gonna do? I'm like, that's the conceit. He's Eric Dane Jr. and he's like 23-year-old Jimmy Hart essentially physically. He's just a dweeb.
Nick Wayne
and yeah, like but no wrestling skill. Like Justin keeps saying, I'm like, well, yeah, some wrestling skill. And just like, no, he's fucking worthless. I'm like, okay, he's worthless.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed this. The idea of this 7 foot. How big is Uriel Cortez?
He's basically 7'2", probably 7'4",
He's
7'2".
Kali, just like I described it. His giant hand just evaporating Eric Jr. Just just gone. Like it's entertaining.
Yeah, I feel like Uriel
over.
Cortez is finding this mean streak, which is exciting. And that Favorite Saints championship puts him on a path to greater glory. Who knows what the future holds, as we all know. So that should be fun. Pat Cassidy and Butch Vic had the stick.
He's got the stick.
He has a skull that's thick. He has a skull that's thick. He's a member of Vay Vic, Tiss, and he got his butt kicked. Yes, very good. We hit them all. We touched them all. This was good. I think actually Mikey pointed it out how Butch Vic controlled a lot of this match. I thought this was a lot of fun, and Pat Cassidy's singles run. His second, I guess, real singles run. Because I don't know if he came in. I think he was a single when he first came in, maybe.
I think so.
I think. So this is going to be interesting, and him moving on from the Brock New Blood era, and the Saturday Night Specials.
Let it not be going said once again that the amount of something that they have made out of the nothing that was Butcher Victorious when I created that character is staggering. Bravo.
Guy,
Like,
he
bravo.
just lost the Favorite Saints championship, and he's here first match back, and it's a big one. He's on pay-per-view.
Oh, if there's a spot, he'll find it. He'll find Butch Vic is another one of those characters. To your point, Evan, that Seth has kind of taken and breathed life into, and like another one. I love
Life
writing
it
Butch
never
Vic.
had.
I love writing Butch Vic. I love reading Butch Vic. Butch Vic is gold.
Stupid
And,
promo he does with the stick and the Vic. And I'm like,
it's
okay,
great. Yeah.
that's one. I don't even like claim to it anymore. It's just the literal name.
Yeah.
Everything else they have made something out of it.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And
Next-
probably the
the next
bio.
match
I'm,
was
I'm sure
my
he.
match.
But I think he probably. I'm sure Seth looked at the bio you made, Evan, like initially, and I'm sure
Well,
he had to
I
have used
isn't
that.
from Austin anymore. He was an Austin. Like I was like, oh, I'll make like an Austin hipster. Like I
Right.
didn't get those references, but I was just like, I'll make an Austin guy. Just that. Just conceded perfect. No, whatever Butch Vic is now is their thing. Their character. Sorry, dogs.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Lucha Libre, Spectaculare. Again,
This was my
another.
match of both shows. I loved this
Nice.
match. I thought like Lucha Libre is fucking hard to do, write out and have it make sense and be logical and actually feel like an exciting Lucha Libre match. And this was like from a technical perspective, length, amount of announcer stuff to actual wrestling. I thought this match was the best thing in the whole show. I think.
Again, it's another one of those just goofy sort of stipulations that Ross and the people he works with, it's got to be Ross's nonsense. I would love to know. Like, I wish one of them was in here to kind of talk about Ross. I'd love to talk to Ross about what Malik is up to. Yeah, no worries. And kind of the direction he's taken him, because it's just so ridiculous. He had the Elise Aries for the identity, and then now he wants to become a Lucha Libre. Like, I'm scared to find out what's next with Malik Garland. Personally,
I didn't know the story going in, so for me it was surprising to see Malik Garland masked and luching up and all of that. So it was really cool. I got the gist right away. Like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing. This is Mr. American, Black Scorpion, Malik Garland style.
yeah. No, bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to see if I can do something. I don't think I can. I was trying to see if I could mute him, just so you can't hear the bird. Just so you can't hear his bird getting eaten by one of his dogs. Okay, because like none of us. I want to sleep tonight. I don't know about you. Oh, there it is. Hold on.
Brian, do you remember the infamous
I did.
Billy doing a murder on the podcast?
The what?
When Billy was on our Atomic Dropcast, and it sounded like he was murdering somebody.
Oh yes,
SummerSlam '97.
yes. With the he was like, well, I think it's cut out. I think it was like
It was during a break, but we
during a
came.
break. I think it was he loaded. He like switched his clothes from the
Yeah,
wash
it was
to the dryer or something. But it was
thump.
it was violent.
Yeah,
Wow,
it was
Wow.
terrific. We
that's
we went
amazing.
on a
Oh, that's awesome. That didn't make the air though. I don't remember. Yeah, you didn't. It wasn't included.
I think it might have been a clip at the end, right?
Oh,
Probably,
genius,
yeah.
genius! You bastards. The end was my favorite part. Honestly, the end was my favorite part. Just because it was. Sometimes my favorite was like when it was like 4 minutes of just out of. Yeah, I love the end. Yeah.
Toward the end of the run, I started clipping little stuff I just thought was funny, and was like just adding it to the intro with like a bunch of echo and reverb.
Mm-hmm,
That became my favorite thing to do with like the Panera. Like
Right. I've been wanting to do that with Def Radio, kind of go through episodes and cherry pick out sound bites. I have to do it. At some point, I'm going to have to do it. There's so many just out of context, hysterical one-liners that if you're inside enough, you'll lose your shit to. Like, oh my God. Like there's so many. 17 episodes I think we're up to. So that's a lot of fucking hours. It's a lot of shit. Oh shit! I just fucking closed the window. Bear with me.
for the show.
No, 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 no. Hold on. Where the hell did it go? Did I not close it? No, I did. It's just not showing. Huh. So it's showing the web page, but now I can't see it. Bear with me. We were commenting earlier, Evan, that I was worried that your bird was getting eaten by one of your dogs. I'm glad to hear that the bird's okay. Okay, I want you to know I am
My wife
very
was handling
happy.
stuff down at the office this
Oh,
evening.
shit.
I
All
was
right.
making sure she was doing okay. But our dogs love her way more than me, so they're very happy.
All right. All right.
Bird
Bear
loves
with
me.
Shit. Is somebody able to tell me what the next match is so we can keep this train rolling?
Yeah.
Because I'm stuck on that screen at the moment. I think just for 2 seconds. Bear with me. Oh, anybody want to comment further on that match? Did we talk about it?
No,
Is it? No.
Yeah. After
Is
After
it?
the lucha match,
Okay.
it's Mike.
Love to see it.
Well then, Mikey, take it away. take it away. Spin a yarn, my friend.
Working with Joe was a breeze so far. He has great ideas. Enjoyed coming up with this, putting it together, and looking forward to working with them moving forward. Uh, Writing Mikey again is awkward, so and especially because I'm going babyface. So we'll see
Right.
how that goes, and it's going to be a awkward transition. But I'm looking forward to it, and got some good ideas. I'm looking forward to facing Ned and trying to work him up and help him out a little bit. So
And this might
What's
not be the best time to throw this in here. I know you're really looking forward to working with Joe.
they expired.
Yeah.
Joe,
All right.
you're fired. Sorry, buddy.
Damn
That
it.
means I'm pulling over, baby.
Sorry.
Spoiler alert.
No, Joe. It's just to show you what a good guy Joe is. He reached out after that. He was like, "Hey, I wanted to sell more, but like I tried to. He didn't want to undercut the fact that Ned had beaten Box and that Ned had taken a beating.
Yeah.
And he was like, I didn't want to like. I'm like, don't fucking worry about it. Jesus Christ, it was a great segment. It's all good. Don't worry. Yeah, he was hurt, so it's fine. Don't. So no, it was totally fine. I thought it was
said
nice.
the
He was
thing.
like,
I
I
didn't
didn't mean
want to
to.
overshadow you. The idea was originally to do it 2 separate nights. And
Oh, hey, no, it was awesome. I thought it was awesome. Like I told you earlier, the fact that it like that the character's considered to the point where like Ned can throw a championship celebration essentially for just beating my dumb character. That's like all right, cool. Yeah, Box is on his. I've stuck hard fast to the age. Like I never shaved any time off his age. So he's 50 now. I'm 40. He's 50. So I'm like, well, I guess eventually I do kind of have to. He's not Superman.
Mortal.
Like, he's not
Mortal.
God. Like,
He's mortal, right? And
mortal,
that's a cool story to tell,
cool,
though.
right.
You know. Yeah.
I'm stressing the shoulder injury. He's going to start getting kind of banged up, leading up to kind of a crescendo that Roland and I are planning. So it's going to be pretty rad.
So
This
let me
was
ask.
cool. I can't wait to
Yeah. I'll to go back to Mikey just on the return of Unlikely, the unlikely return, if I may. 3 other characters that you want to see a babyface Mikey Unlikely work with before he gets beaten by Scott Douglas III, because we need another second generation deaf wrestler.
He's 10 years old and he's full of spitting vinegar.
He's got a pill problem.
Yeah, not just because he's the Fist, with or without a title. I'd love to work with Dex Joy. I had one match with him when he was coming up when I was the Fist, and so I love Mark. Love his writing. I'm a huge fan of Dex Joy. One of my I know we're both baby faces at this point, but one of my favorite characters in Deaf history.
Okay.
Great baby face. Other
You called Dex as Fist early, by the way.
Yes, you did. I recall that. I recall that as well.
I told Brian and the rest of the staff when I was the Fist, I said, if there's one guy I can pick to beat me, let Dex Joy do it, because I fucking loved him so much.
It's not going to be Scott Douglas. It's not going to be Scott Douglas. No.
He unfortunately, Marcus he just started Dex. He just wasn't there yet. You know?
No, and I get it, but he was just the most natural.
And the story, yeah, like the story. I missed so much of it because it was still in the middle of it when I came back. But the whole story with Faye Victus was like, what a great, like babyface is hard to do, and he did it against some like Keys and Troy and Burns. Like those are like some of the best heels characters in the whole Fed, and Dex, like. What a triumphant babyface y'all have everybody's built in Dex. Like he beat the world. Like that's what you want to see is Dusty Rhodes standing there with the world title. Every once in a while, the babyface has got to shine and win and conquer everything. It feels good. So they did that. It's great.
But I would say I'd like to take on maybe Henry Keys. Maybe Malik Garland would be great. Oh, Mike.
Oh man. Oh, those are great. Those are all going to be awesome. Now you need to do it.
Nathaniel I would be fun.
Yep.
GVP?
I can see that.
GVP would be fun. I would beat his ass.
You got to go over, man. You're going over GVP every time.
Going over, baby.
Oh man. So yeah, the return of Mikey Unlikely and immediately inserted into a program with an ascendant Ned Reform. This is like the stars aligning.
What a good promo.
Yes,
what a
yes.
Good promo from like before Mikey comes out. I was just like I immediately after I finished reading the match, I messaged her. I'm like, if you don't make Ned just an absolute insufferable piece of, before I can even get it out, he's like, oh, he's gonna just, I'm like, good. I'm like, you take that wham, you ram it, you just do some good heel shit, my friend. Like he did. He great promo. Just like, what do you want? Fuck you. Yeah, just good energy.
Yeah, that's exciting. There's good shit ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen it. That's good stuff.
Main event time, Paul.
Yeah, man, main event. I think we kind of just touched on kind of Dex Joy's story, and it does sort of feel like that. Yeah, it was around July of 2021. It was over 2 years ago when kind of the Dex Joy story really started. I feel like maybe a little earlier, but the timing wasn't right back then. But putting the belt on him felt right. This win. Again, over Oscar Burns, never really in my mind in question. I felt going into it this was going to be Dex retaining, but they killed this.
It was a good period on the Faye Victus story. It was like a good
yeah.
You know, they already hit the high points of like Troy
but
and
now
this was just sort of like
nails in the coffin, right?
Sending it off, and it really sets Dex up as just like Dusty Rhodes. He's like a young Gen Z Dusty Rhodes, or I guess millennial. I don't know how old Dex is supposed to be. I always imagine him a lot younger.
Yeah, I could see that.
He's older.
Coming off that last indie champion, coming off that last victory, yeah, it's kind of hard to surprise anyone because I mean, unless you're gonna hot shot it, what are you gonna do except for?
And that's not your style, brother. That's not your style.
I mean,
no, man. That ain't your speed.
Elephants are one thing. Elephants are one thing.
Elephants are one thing. Aliens are another.
Listen, we had one alien apply. One.
I'm here to tell you, I'm gonna be looking more into this home nest situation.
I want an inspection. Yeah, every bird. I want to see every bird in the building. I want to see it. I want to see where it lives. Oh my god!
I'm not convinced birds aren't just aliens with feathers.
Right. It does sort of feel like, but it does sort of feel like you talk about the end of the Faye Victus story. It definitely feels like this is the end of.
I'm sure
correct. No, yeah, I know what you mean. Like kind of the feud with Dex Joy, but this does sort of feel like this is and there's been a couple, but like this is a big one where either it's time to regroup. It's time to regroup. Perfect time for Lindsay Troy perhaps to return from hiatus. Butch Vick losing the Favored Saints championship. Henry Keys dropping the Soher after a historic run. Oscar Burns coming up short on the biggest stage. So again, they got
I'm
the
interested to
shame.
see
There's got to be
what
shame.
he does with Burns. Like, what is Burns gonna sort of like where I'm with Box? I'm like, okay, well, how do I come back from a big old loss? Like, what do I got? So I'm like,
I think both of them can kind of come back and they bounce. Yeah, Burns last time Burns lost, he tapped out to Corvo Alpha and he basically said it didn't happen. He insisted that it didn't happen, and that's how he came back from it. And he got himself in the main event immediately after that. He got himself in a program with Dex Joy. So I think Bronson Box is fine. Again,
Box, I already know what I'm doing, and Box is going to find himself a surrogate human being to beat on, and it's going to be pretty fun. I'm
Let me get
excited.
one of those L's from Corvo, bro.
oh boy, yeah. Oh man. Yeah, no. So I again, I thought this was a awesome match. Obviously, we touched, I think, at the beginning on the post match with Edward White's kind of return to Defiance. I certainly, as I was reading it, I was beefing it at the same time. I was writing it. I had a document open. I was writing the feedback, and I got to the end of the match. And I was ready to be like, wow, what a great show. I literally had, wow, what an awesome show.
Well, I love
written.
after the tag. Like, this was like NXT Black and Gold. This is the final. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. Well,
I
that's what I did. So I literally was reading it and I'm like, wow, this is an awesome show. No shit. And I probably even scrolled up and looked for more detail and all that. And then I scrolled back down to the end and I'm like, well, what the fuck is this bullshit? Motherfucker, I thought this show was over. What time is this show gonna be over? It's like an AEW pay-per-view that just never fucking ends. Oh no, I'm just kidding. No, this is
Run.
yeah, no, but this took me completely by surprise, in a really good way, and it changes the status quo, like immediately changes the status quo in Defiance, in a unforeseen way. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, and like the 8 years, quote unquote, he was in prison. That's shoot 8 years since. Because I had to go back. I was scrolling through all the old news, and I realized that I wrote the him going to prison thing 8 years ago, in 2015. That's when he went to prison, and so I'm like, that's a perfect prison sentence for some minor financial crimes. So
If you got a good lawyer,
he's back. Yeah, I was. Yeah. He's a billionaire. Come on, but a millionaire now. He's been I downgraded him to be a little bit more realistic. He's not a billionaire. So there's my conceit. He's still going to be absolutely ridiculous and drive Brian crazy.
Oh man.
There's going to be some helicopters. There's going to be like some really, really. I'm stretching my imagination for
ostentatious.
So,
I mean, look. I don't like absurdity, but if a character is rich independently, it's like the old Marvel thing. The no prize. Like if you're reading their comics and you found a gap in their logic, you send it in. They give you it's a mention, like a no.
That's
prize.
old school, Brian. That is old school, bro.
Old school Marvel. Old school Marvel poll.
I forgot about the no prize.
If Brian can get through 499 days of Mikey Unlikely, I think we're going to be all right.
Well, and again, that was like the Hollywood star and the money and the press, like that the rich thing in wrestling. I think it can get corny, but like it's doable.
I mean, here's how I explain away.
We started doing Tiger King matches and aliens, Sasquatch wizards.
I think he's
Bigfoot wizards. Sasquatch is a slur, and I will not stand here and hear you say it.
I just saw him on the news.
That's right. That's right.
I honestly like he's healed as a heel almost works even better because you think about what a sociopath it takes. Oh, because you like to apply logic to it. Like you look at Key's entrance on night one. It's like it would take a complete self-absorbed sociopath to pull all of that off and waste all that time and money. And the extras, because the plague doctors are all, if you try to put your mind in the idea of they're all backstage with their masks off smoking and there comes Keys to go, all right, fellas.
It's showtime!
Like, does he have directors? Like, I almost kind of want him to break that fourth wall, but I also don't. Like I like the illusion that it's still just this weird army of people. You know, that I apply that to it, and it becomes even more.
I would love to see an uncut.
Careful,
segment.
careful what you say. Careful. What do you want to see, Brian? Yeah.
Of Henry P berating one of the plague doctors with a mask up
Right.
afterward,
Right.
because he wasn't in lockstep.
Mr. Mark.
Hey, Mr. Mark. Or the Scott Hunter things. Something with Scott Hunter's nonsense, and way he talks such nonsense, arguing with an activist, like an animal rights activist, after the show.
Mm-hmm.
This is all gold, people.
Seriously, yeah, that's a good one.
Taking notes.
Oh man. So I think going forward, there's a lot to unpack. I think is how the saying goes around these parts. And there's a lot to I'm excited about literally everything, and kind of. I have a lot of questions on where shit's going, which is always a good thing. I think when you when you close that page, you want to close it excited and interested on what you're going to open next time, when on a Wednesday night and a Thursday night. So I thought this is awesome. I'm excited for the next day.
If I know this fed as much as I think I do, I don't think even the people involved in all the arcs know what's going to happen in the next arc, because they haven't written them yet.
This is very true. I have no shit. Yeah.
There are a lot of great ideas floating around out there. I don't think anybody knows what's going on yet.
I think yeah. Go ahead, Brian.
I'm sorry. Given what I know about Mallet Garden's current or past arc, which is what you talked about here tonight. If Ross doesn't write, if he hasn't already, if Ross doesn't write, someone else saying it to Malik or whatever, in some form or fashion, there's a lot to unmask here.
He may have already. I mean, who knows, right?
It's low hanging fruit. He probably already has, but
a lot to unmask here.
Oh man. So, any final thoughts on these two shows before we sign off?
Awesome shows. Looking forward to the near future.
Yeah, dude, welcome back. I'm stoked to see you back in action.
Thank you to Marcus for reaching out to me. Marcus reaching. I
didn't
totally wasn't expecting to work with Dex.
I didn't read the shows yet, but very glad to have Mikey back. Very glad to have Evan back.
There you go.
Paul got a well-earned Soher run. Everyone doing the thing. Granted, I'm kind of dipping in and out, but it's been a long time here. My interest wanes. But everyone who does everything to make Defiance, I probably said this on every episode, a few drinks in me, is the reason I was like, we can't let this shut down. It runs itself. And Roland doing the day-to-day would probably take issue with that, but it really does. Like the participants write it, and I'm so happy that everyone is still involved. Still involved to a point where we can't have a one night. Like, that's a good problem to have. So
absolutely,
kudos to everybody for still being invested and involved and keeping this hobby alive and this fed alive.
That's wow, man. Well said. That was inspirational.
Weird history.
It's a lot of weird history. And a lot of weird history to be made. I'm playing with it, buddy.
Ed has this much backlog, back catalog.
That's true. There is a lot.
2008 and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next tour is the Gorilla Birdhouse tour.
I get that reference. Oh man. One announcement I do want to make before I sign off. The next Defiance Radio in character foolishness will be happening live on YouTube on this very channel on Saturday, November 16th. It's the Thanksgiving Feastival hosted by Chris Trutt. And it's going to be a Thanksgiving feast that Chris Trutt is hosting from his home. And he is inviting all the wrestlers to come. So I need a lot of help. And they can come throughout the day. But I have an idea. I have a lot of ideas. But I don't have enough. I need your ideas. So we have a lot of time for you to get really stupid and to think about audio. About if your character showed up to Chris Trutt's house and his mom's going to be there, which is also going to be fun. If your character showed up to Chris Trutt's house, what would your character bring? Why is your character there? What would happen? Who would your character want to interact with? What can you set up? What can you make happen? It's Defiance Radio. You guys, and to Brian's point, you want to talk about writing itself and a lot of fun to put together. That is one of those things. So yes, thank you dudes for participating in this foolishness. I appreciate you all. And we'll do this again soon. Farewell.